Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another comXone. We just had a lovely raid from our friend Alchemy, a great musician based here in Eastern Canada. So, for those of you who've just come through, I'll say it again. I know I just did a little intro, but this is for everybody that's here, everybody who's watching later on, because this happens live on Twitch, but I archive all this on YouTube. So whether you're watching live, as you can see the people here watching live on Twitch, whether you're catching this later on YouTube, I thank you for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, you can always be catching this live. Join my Discord. You'll find links in all the places where you find links. If you're watching this live right now on Twitch, thank you for joining. Feel free to chat about the art as we go through. And I'll also, a big thing I do here is I want you to check these creators out. So you'll see stuff. We'll get to it as we get going. So stick around. Here we go. Okay, so first, just a little preamble about what we're talking about today. So recently I was at a arts market. It was at the Art Gallery of Alberta in Edmonton, Alberta, out here in Western Canada. It was myself and a room full of really great creators talking about hawking our wares. We had comics, zines, book stuff like bookmaking, bindery, printmaking. It's a whole wonderful thing. One quick thing we'll do before we get into talking more about that arts market, I wanted to bring up one other thing. I've got one thing here that didn't get picked up at the arts market, but I wanted to talk about it. Those of you who've been watching the comXone for some time, you'll recognize this name, the Sprawl. Got the logo here as well. I wanted to talk about this stuff. This is a local journalistic, so a local journalistic endeavor here in Calgary that does like hyper local, what they call slow news. So I love them a lot because what they do, Jeremy Colossus, and then the comics here, Comix and Zines from Sam Hester, is they talk about a lot of very like local, hyper local stuff, and they do it in a way that isn't, it's very much not your standard like 24-hour news cycle. It's about deep diving into things that are interesting. So as we go through here, off to my side here, look, I even pointed the correct way. You're going to find where you can follow these people. So the Sprawl, like I said, I just picked up this hat last week, went and had a chat with, I went and I talked Jeremy Colossus's ear off. He's the editor-in-chief at the Sprawl. We were talking about mostly socialist stuff. I talk about a lot of socialist stuff these days. So I talked his ear up. But I wanted to go through this one before we go into the AGA market stuff. This has been a series that Sam has been doing with the Sprawl. This is the 17th one in it. I think I've shown all previous 16 on old episodes of this. And this one here, they just often talking about things that we might take for granted in our everyday life, like infrastructure, civic public transportation, civic projects, neighborhoods, local landmarks, historical ways of getting around our city or interacting with our city. And this one here talks about the sort of history and what's brought us to where we are now in terms of walk signals in this part of the world. We'll jump through this rather quickly. But what I love about this is Sam's great. Sam is very, very talented. And here talking about the history of how pedestrians and cars used to interact in this part of the world, with back in the 20s controlling them manually with police officers, and then the first time when we started in the 30s getting actual signal systems, moving forward into our timing systems that we have that actually control the timing of our intersections and when lights happen. And this is a lot like the stuff that Gordon and I do in our comics for Genki Comics, and the stuff I do with these two hands. Like, we love to deep dive into histories like this. So it's awesome stuff. And even talking about the things that have happened over the years in terms of what the walking person looks like. It's like they saw the future. So back in the when they started changing these over in like the 70s and 80s, it went from this walking person who was like taking a long stride and heads up on a swivel looking to this hunched over one, which for a long time people were saying like, it's gonna reflect our aging population, the people who are moving around more in their communities. But I would almost say that they had the foresight that everyone was going to be looking down at their phones, walking like this. I see that a lot, so this is pretty cool. And there's Sam there talking about this. Yeah, awesome zine. I love this stuff. So I grabbed this one. I already have a copy I printed myself from this. So if you follow their stuff, you can get copies of these zines for free off of the Sprawl website. I'm going to take this one. I was telling Jeremy, I'm going to take this one to the next market I have in late May and give it away to somebody at that event. Um, I also have one of these thick ass stickers, which is based on our local light rail transit, the C train. So I'm going to be giving these ones away at the next thing I'm at. So that's that one. Now let's talk a little more. Like I said, let's talk a little bit about the show. It's happened for the last, what is this? Is this the fourth year it's been running, I think? It's at the Art Gallery of Alberta, and it's expanded a little bit in its scope this year, that they changed it from being what was always the comic and zine market to being the comic, zine, and books market, because there's actually a lot of printmakers there and a lot of people doing more book, like bound things, getting into that kind of artisan side, that sort of crafts and artisan side of it, which I think is really cool. I was sad to see there was a couple of the printmakers I'm used to seeing at that one, because it's up in Edmonton. I'm from Calgary. There's some people I only see once a year that weren't there this year, but I got to meet some new people and also reconnect with some people I really, really like and get to see every year or so. What's this? I found a little extra something in here. I think it's from a different zine though, or maybe not. We'll find out. All right, so the first one we're going to talk about today, this is a creator that I've actually shown before. They were in a single table that had a bunch of students from I believe from the University of Alberta. Yeah, hand binding stuff is great. If you check out the part one of this, you'll get to see some cool stuff, repurposing book binding, like the material from it, and making these awesome little sketchbooks. So Al Young was it with, I've got about, I think I have 3 other creators who were at the table. They were all visual art students, and I believe they were at the University of Alberta. And I've shown some of Al's work before, and what we've got now in these 3 pieces that I got from Al. I love it when people do these things where they take stuff from their sketchbook. Look at the beautiful typography as well. It's awesome. Really nice style. I love it when people take their sketchbooks and make something out of them, so that stuff isn't lost, right? Because it's easy with a sketchbook. And now I'm not a big sketcher, so I don't have a ton of that stuff. But I love it for people, especially students who are, really expected to be always sketching. And really I should be as well. But it's easy for a sketchbook to be made and then shoved to the side at some point. And I just like it so much when people are then able to take it, because this would be something that'd be lost otherwise, right? You wouldn't see this shapely shapely bum here next to these other cool, like some studies based off of sculpture by the looks of it. Oh yeah, and look at that. So Al's great. Al does larger pieces. Well, we're going to look at another sort of larger zine as well. Look at that. That's awesome. I love this face study here. It almost has like there's almost a gestural quality to the like a contour drawing almost. I like this to see. So you're seeing Al's notes to themselves of what's due. We got a live model session on Monday. Got to finish the design for the Thursday. Need a deck of cards mock up, and email the drawing to your professor about the next project. I like seeing that kind of stuff. Yeah, yeah, Boba. I definitely, when I was going through art school as well, we were encouraged to always be exploring, always be drawing, and I just kind of fell off a bit once I started doing design. Like I still do sketches and I still do little doodles, but I need to get back. Yeah, it's like a muscle, right? You have to keep exercising that muscle, and whether it be music, whether it be art, you kind of need to keep exercising that muscle, or else it atrophies. And I am very guilty of allowing it to, to atrophy. So the cool thing is Al gave me both the first and second volume of their sketchbook series. Heart. There's a set of legs. I love now one of my favorite things when I was going through art school in Medicine Hat in Alberta was to my very favorite one was to do I loved life drawing. I loved it when we got a live model in. Because I would just, I don't know, I would pick a medium and then I would turn my brain off and I would just like envision what I'm seeing in front of me in terms of like shape and color and form and light. And I would just start going. Like you get into that almost like fugue state. And so that's my favorite. This is a really good life drawing of still life of a pond. That I don't like doing as much. I don't like being in public and drawing the thing. That's not something I do. But people who are good at it, I am just amazed. Yeah, look at these. Liver, kidneys, a kidney's cut in half. Cool studies. I that's a valuable thing to understand that sort of like that sort of thing. Oh, look at this. Look at that one. That's look at that. That's very nice. And lastly, from Al, we're going to look at perfection is the enemy of good. Nice texture on this. I decided to buy a pack of cigarettes today. It was freezing cold when I woke up. It had gone down to -30 the night before, leaving my nose cold to the touch. As I started my space heater, my mind wandered to an earlier conversation. Fuck, it's cold. You know, I've been on disability for 3 years now, and it barely covers my rent for me and my brother. Hey, you got a cigarette by any chance? Sorry, I don't smoke. I have no interest in it, but each year, as the cost of groceries inflate and rent rises, and as the hospitals swell with frostbitten victims, I get more people asking me for a smoke. So I ventured from my room and into the cold, and I added another thing to my shopping list. So here's Al's experience trying to buy cigarettes when you do not know how to buy cigarettes, don't know what kind to buy, you're not buying them for yourself, and you just get side-eyed by by the clerk the whole time. Wait, these aren't for you? Who are they for? What do you mean you don't know what kind of cigarettes you want? It's really good. So a week later, my friends and I got thrown off a bus for trying to help a guy who was passed out. One thing the driver said stuck with me. Don't touch him. He could have a knife. Even if he doesn't, this won't fix it. Why even try? He's right. Helping one person won't fix the problem. But something doesn't have to fix everything to be worth doing. Harm reduction doesn't aim for perfect, it aims for better. That guy we were helping, he almost got arrested. He only agreed to come with us because we offered him a cigarette. The thing I promised I'd never buy. Yes, smoking is bad, cigarettes do kill. But I found that offering one has made people more likely to accept my help. So I've given up on moralizing. After all, perfection is the enemy of good. I love the story in this. This comes with that as well. What I keep in my bag for outreach, so cigarettes, lighters, naloxone, which is for anyone who is overdosing on an opioid, first aid kit, granola bars, juice boxes, and fruit snacks are good too, hand warmers and gloves in the winter, water bottles, wet wipes. I love the message in this one, because that's one thing that a lot of so doing more art stuff and going to independent arts markets, I've been exposed and had more conversations with people doing things like street outreach, community outreach, harm reduction. And a big thing they say is, they say exactly this: perfection is the enemy of good, meaning that if you think that the only time you should help your fellow people is when you've got all the right answers and can do it completely right and fix the problem, otherwise it's not worth doing. That is the absolute enemy of good and doing good. It's the kind of thing where even if you've got a local shelter, like say for example, I'm going to be taking some towels from that we're no longer in need of down to our local shelter, because they commonly ask for that. They're a little bit, these towels, they're a little bit, little bit thready, they're a little bit threadbare. So it's easy for people to say, well, I won't do that. I'll just get rid of them. I'll just throw them out. It's not worth giving if they're not great. No, do the good, do the thing, help out. We're all just trying our best here. Yeah, Al, awesome work as always. Your shit's always really, really good. Next one. There's gonna be a couple of quick ones here, a couple of rapid fire ones. Same table. Lucas was there with this absolutely kick-ass print of your friend and mine, Lord Cthulhu. I love it. So this is a lino cut. So I love lino cuts. I've never done them. I've always wanted to do them. And I love how much more, I think lino cuts are great, because getting that piece of linoleum and being able to carve that, I think it takes a lot of the, it makes the process easier, so more people can get into printmaking, which I think is the goal. Just get more people doing art. For crying out loud, more people doing art is good. So I love this. I love the quality of it. I love when I get a printed piece like this. Like if I flip it around, you might be able to see, if I get the light just right, you might be able to see how it's, what happens when you run this through a press and get that impression is you get this wonderful, so I can run my hand. I'm a big fan of printmaking just for the tactile nature. This is why I love getting prints from people of their printmaking, is that I get everything from it. Sometimes you can even smell the ink from it. You get the great paper, great ink. Yeah, I get that, Boba Binks. It's definitely like a critical mass out there. It's definitely flooded out there. I don't know. I always look at it as more art as good art. It makes it hard to make a living though. I know. Like that's, hey, tell me about it. The last several years I've had, tell me about it. Making a living off of art is damn near impossible. But when I go to these markets, I want as many people, like that's why I focus on trade so much, because I'm like, we're all holding cash money in our hands. We've created currency, and if we are able to trade it between artists, that's great, because I want to be exposed to as much art as possible. Okay, the next creator, I got a few pieces from Kay. Kay was another student who was at the booth and was very kind to give me several pieces of theirs. So I got this, another kick-ass lino cut called Tension. Look at that. And just a reminder, as always, like I said, you can follow their stuff here. If you like anybody's stuff, want to let them know you've seen it and you like it. I love this one called Tension. And then this one here called In Search of Sky. The other thing that Kay had some really cool stuff of, they actually showed me some of a project they were working on for I think their final piece for one program, where they had their photography. And I think some of that photography is also reflected in this piece. I think there were one or two pieces that at least look like they were done at the same time. Kay's got a great eye for composition and capturing moments. So In Search of Sky was really cool. What I like about this is it's all printed, but they took some vellum, as you see here, so you get this partial transparent piece with typography all over their photographs. So you get this cool play between the transparent look of a vellum versus that vibrancy of a photograph. It was mid-August. Familiar streets knew me all too well. Plaster and pavement swallowed me whole. I had been in the city too long. We packed up our things and found ourselves south. Lakes and roads and flatness. Fields upon fields upon fields. And endless sky. And in that endless sky, we found a stone structure. And I'll tell you about this structure in a minute. A shelter from the elements. It was cold and dark. Oh, I love, so this is actually, this one here, this page is actually printed on vellum. So I get the transparency. You can see it sticking here in here. But somehow the sky still found a way in. Ah, this piece is awesome. This piece is awesome. So let me tell you about this. I don't think I mentioned to Kay that I actually know what this structure is that this is based on. So this here is called the Sunny Slope Shelter. It will feature in one of my Ghost Town zines when I start doing what I'm calling the Central Belt region. This was almost lost. So it's just out in the middle of a farmer's field. There's this stone archway with a beautiful door because it was open to the elements for a long time, and someone built a new door for it and made it sort of not like weather tight, but gave it a lot more of a fighting chance. So they rebuilt the stone archway. So there was a man, kind of a hermit, who lived in this thing called the Sunny Slope Shelter nowadays. You'll actually find when you go out there, there's more information about the person who lived there. He lived out there all on his own, away from the local towns, kind of kept to himself. And people kind of stumbled across this and went, oh, geez, this guy's shelter was still there. And you go down into it and you can be in the middle of the blazing heat in an Alberta summer, with 35 degrees Celsius outside, and you can walk into it and it drops, 10, 15 degrees as you go down to this just underground shelter. And it's great that the farmer who owns the land, the private owner, will let you, go take a look as long as you're respectful. So I'll be taking a look at this, hopefully, if not later this summer, then next summer. We'll talk about it. So, Kay, cool. I love, when I read through this after the event, I was just like, holy shit, this is the place I'm planning on going soon. Really cool stuff. Next, another rapid fire. This one's from Juno. This was another student at that one. I love this one. It's called The Laughing Magpie. I'm a big fan of magpies. They are in Calgary here, our civic bird by popular vote. The Laughing Magpie. I love the style of this because it looks like, it's a trickster. And magpies are known for being very playful, very much tricksters. I think that's awesome. I think it's really nice. Once again, if you look out from the other direction, you see that awesome impression that's made, which I love. Love the style of this too. That one's rapid fire. Another rapid fire one. This one is from puffywiz, Charlotte Marshall. I've shown some of Charlotte's work on here before, including Charlotte's webcomic called Tailwinds. Tailwind or Tailwinds? Oh boy. If you look at Charlotte's socials, you'll find their long-running webcomic, which is great because I love Charlotte's style. It's really nice. Really good stuff. Especially Charlotte's coloring work. I don't think people talk enough, I see people, people like Charlotte's stuff, but for me it's like I love all the art, but I think the hidden the hidden star of it is Charlotte's coloring work, I think, is really sublime. I love that. Yeah, cool stuff. Really cool stuff. So that's another rapid fire one. Now we're going to move to a little bit longer form. This is a promotional sort of pilot issue of a new series that Kyle Smith with Inkfable is getting off the ground, called Voyagers. Now there's also, I think, yes, there's also some character work here by Brian Smart. So Kyle and Brian are working on this one. I love Kyle's style. Really good creator. I've shown some of his stuff as well 2 years ago. If you look at the AGA comic zones that we did 2 years ago, you'll see some of Kyle's stuff there. And so this is sort of a black and white. Yeah, I think he described it sort of as almost like the pilot, of a new show kind of thing, introducing the characters. Look at that. One thing I think that both Kyle and Brian do best of all are their character designs. All the character designs and all of Kyle's stuff and what I've seen of Brian's stuff is really cool. Really, I love the sort of like ornate costuming. It's a lot of Kyle's stuff is very much rooted in science fiction, but also has, it's almost a bit, it reminds me of Kyle's been doing this a lot longer than since the movie Black Panther came out, but it has some of that where you've got very elaborate costuming and there's a sense of tradition there. I don't know, I just think Kyle is a super rad dude as well. He's really fun to talk to. He's just a very kind guy. Look at that. And the way Kyle is made to do amazing science fiction. He manages to make it like bombastic and really ornate and really like a feast for the senses without it getting on top of me. It's very easy to get something, lack from a better term, like that's something that's like too busy, too overwhelming for the senses. But I don't know. I think Kyle always strikes a really good balance. He knows when to slow it down and give you just a sense that you're there with the characters, and then throw you into something that's more bombastic and like does that pacing back and forth. And that's why I like Kyle's stuff so much. It's beautiful. Really beautiful. Next one. Chelsea from Sharks and Donuts. Sharks and Donuts is has been a regular. Chelsea's been a regular shower at the AGA market. We were in the sort of same island of people this time. We're sort of kitty corner from each other. She was over my shoulder. And then last year we were right side by side. So I got to see a lot of Chelsea stuff both last year and this year. You might remember last year, the piece I had from them was about Super Mario 64 speed runs, and it was super cool. This year, I was able to get my hands on this. Absolutely. Oh, it's got like the silk laminate kind of thing on it. It's very nice. I'm a very tactile person. I'm called Mayflower. This is really quite beautiful. Look at that artwork. Chelsea is just dynamite. Wow. This is great. Like the richness of the black in this one. The webcam's never going to capture it in the same way that my eyeballs are seeing it right now. It's so rich. This does, I think, what I always like about this style of comic, like these sort of like fairy comics, often will show everything in a, they'll do it in a way that doesn't need any dialogue, which I think is awesome. I've always kind of wanted to try my hand of can I tell a story of a character without using any dialogue? Because as you may have all noticed, I'm a guy who likes to talk. I'm a guy who's a little long-winded at times. So this would be it would be an interesting challenge to see if I could shut up for 1 minute and then and try and tell a story without you needing to have exposition or description, and just do it all visually. Which is why I think this is the most powerful visual medium you can get, is comics and zines and graphic novels. I think making a storyline visual is one of the most powerful ways you can share it. So beautiful piece, really nice, and so well produced. I need to step my printing game up at some point here. Finally, we're on our last one for today. I really wanted to take some time with this one. I've got 3 issues here of a series called Leonarda. So I really want to delve deeply into these 3 issues, because what you're going to find in these ones is there are 4 different creators that you're going to see in these pages. You're going to see Nickolas, Chella, Gemma, and Josh. And I wanted to kind of show everybody's stuff. Now, one of the creators, I think it might have been Chella. I was not able to find their socials. The failing of my searching, I'm sure. But please, everybody else here, you can find, and you can also find more about, if you just were to able to at least go look at the Middling Productions Instagram, you will find more on each of these folks. But I wanted to really kind of delve through these. These are meaty issues. They are got square. They got square bindings on them. They are very, very substantial. Now I'll warn you, there is a discussion of things like self-harm in these ones here. It's very heavy subject matter, but really, really good stuff. And the artwork is great. It really, like, I was surprised as I read through this. I wasn't expecting right away the themes that were in it, and really struck me of how powerfully they did it. Especially when you look at the artwork, it almost, for me, it almost had that, for lack of a better term, that way of almost like a deceptively dark, where you don't expect right away how dark the storyline will be. It's almost like the way Alice in Wonderland will, kind of brings you in with this whimsical fantasy thing, but it's really dark. It's really talking about some heavy stuff about like, power and things like that. But this one really talks about like anxiety and self-harm, and it's really quite something. And it has this cast. The cast are all animal, humanoid animal characters. So it's you don't expect right away how how dark the storyline will be. One thing that Nickolas is also doing here that I think is really great, really playing with texture. And so you can see, if you look at the coloring, at the shading that's happening on the characters, you can tell it's being done with pen and ink, and probably markers. I'm thinking either ink or like a markers. You can see how he's building up building it up with successive layers. But you can see here, when you've got the pen and ink, all hand drawn, but then you've got some cool digital effects on some of the backgrounds. And I think that's cool, a cool way of bringing that together. Leonarda, a macabre tale to disturb and enthrall. And yeah, I don't know. I get this. Maybe it's also having humanoid animals that reminds me of Alice in Wonderland. It has that feeling where it's like it's a dark story, but it's shared in a way that I think can make it more accessible to people of all ages, which I think is good, because then you are able to like there's some really heavy stuff in here. You know, persecution. You know, things about persecution, things about misuse of power and authority. You know, and then discussions about self-harm, and it's heavy stuff, but really well done. And like I said, there are 3 issues of this, and each one, as you get into issues 2 and 3, it introduces some stuff from other creators as well. So in this one here, it has the piece from Gemma Zheng, I think it is Gemma Zheng. So yes, this continues the story of Leonardo. So like I said, if you like this stuff, go check it out. This is a thick one. Look at it. Look at the spine on that one. I'll put my pinky next to it so you can see it. Oh, like that's half a pinky right there. This is a meaty issue. So I wanted to show as well as we get further on in this one. You get the Great Demon Saga by Gemma, because Middling is what they're doing, is they're publishing other people's stuff as well. And so what I like about things like this, when people pull together productions like this, is you're able to get, it's just cool when you get multiple creators in a single printed piece. That's why I like anthologies. Like I said, I'm always like, more art is good art. I just want as many people's stories, as many people's experiences. And it's, you know, be like here, and I think the entire thing with Leonardo and this piece as well, they both have a lot about vulnerability. And I think that's where, you know, I've talked about this at length in several episodes of comXone, but I think that's what's so powerful about creator owned comics, you know, creators being in charge of everything to do with the comic, is they'll put themselves out there. They will, and not be afraid to be vulnerable, and really let you in on a piece of their psyche, a piece of their experience. And I think that's when we make some amazing connections with art. This last one here has a companion piece, or a backup piece with a piece from Josh Prayer, I think his name. Sorry, Josh Prevey, which I may be saying wrong. My apologies if I am. But Josh's work, it's a new. He makes sort of a. His is very much like a. Reminds me of 90s comics. To me, that's the feeling I get. I almost get a feeling. I think about things like Dark Star. Is that what it's called? Dark Hawk. For something about it remind me of things like Dark Hawk, maybe the Punisher. Maybe it's because he has lots of guns. But that's sort of like anti-hero. I like that Josh is using like really doing tasteful, thought out uses of red color to accentuate what he's doing. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I think Leonardo is a heck of a series. I think they're doing good stuff. This one, boy, is this as thick as the second one? It's pretty close. Yeah, all really good stuff. And they're really telling cool stories. Getting more into like, yeah, dealing with actual monstrous things here that can bring a lot of fear. It's pretty cool. That's Leonardo. That's the last one I'm going to show you for today. Let's take a quick look back through everything that we looked at today. We had Leonardo, which is from Middling Productions. We also had Mayflower from Chelsea Wong at Sharks and Donuts. Voyagers, Project Zero from Kyle. Here's Charlotte's beautiful postcard that she gave me. Beautiful little print. The amazing Laughing Magpie. That one's from Juno. These 2 pieces from Kay. Your Friend of Mine, Cthulhu, from Lucas. And we started off the night with Al Young's 3 pieces here. And we had a little look at the Sprawl as well. And this hat. This is brand new. I just picked this up last week. Yeah, that's it for today. Now, comXone will return in a few weeks. Probably in early June, we'll be doing some more episodes because my next art markets are May 25th and May 31st, a rapid fire 2 weekends in a row. So I expect to have a lot from those two. So we'll probably have multiple parts of those. That'll probably take us right into the summer as we do that there. And we're going to be working on some of my own stuff throughout the weeks as well. Like I said before, if you liked anybody's art that you saw, follow them. You saw all the stuff there. You can always check out the VOD on Twitch, or this will be on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, I thank you very much for that. You could be catching this live on Twitch. And if you're watching here on Twitch and you wanted to, you saw one of your new favorite artists, please check it out on YouTube afterwards and give them a follow. Let them know you saw their stuff. You'd be surprised what that can do to an artist's day, to see somebody follow them and just reach out and say, hey, I saw your stuff and I think you're doing good work. You'd be surprised what that does for our day. You can sail right through to the end of the week on a high like that. You feel very good about it. So thank you very much, everybody. This is the comXone. I'm Charles. Join the Discord. That's where you'll find out when I'm doing these. Thank you very much. I appreciate you checking out the comXone. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye, YouTube.